Hey guys, it's J.P.Fluellen here with another episode of the Success Agent Podcast, where we interview top leaders, broker owners, influencers, and just overall cool people out there. And today we have Bill Kurzeja with us. He's going to talk to us about his time in the Army, how he got to where he's at today. And then we're going to jump into some really cool stuff about communication and email. So, Bill, take it away, man.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be on your show here. And let's see. So, yeah, you mentioned the Army. I'll start there. So, I enlisted in the military at the age of 20, turned 21 while still in training. And, it's really where I learned confidence in myself and, really the ability to be outspoken, speak up for myself, believe in what I'm saying, so on and so forth. And spent 8 years in the military. I moved up from, went in as a private, worked my way up into the sergeant position, and I found that I really enjoyed leadership. Okay, it was satisfying. There was purpose there. I felt really good at the end of the day where I helped team members grow and expand, and actually wanted them to outrank me. Right, that was the whole purpose, was to build other leaders. I transitioned out of the military when I started having a family. My wife and I, we started having children. And at that point, the expenses and thinking about college and so on and so forth was just overwhelming. So, went right into the retail sales industry. I've been in retail sales now for the past almost 20 years and worked my way up there. Went from, just selling. I was in the automotive industry right out the gate, and then went into a little bit of business to business, vendor, worked with a lot of real estate and mortgage and so on and so forth. Till about 5+ years ago, I went into my business and what I do now. And like I was telling you before we went on the air, is like those were jobs and this is who I am, right? So I go back to enjoying that leadership role and helping people grow and build bigger and better lives and within themselves. And I apply that to what I do now with our company. So, we go in and we help people. Everybody's successful. Every business is successful to a certain extent. How do you get to the next level? What are the little details, the little things that you may or may not be seeing? You may know what it is, but you may not know what it takes to get there. So what we do is we come in, we evaluate the success of where you are now, and we build a plan, an action plan to help you grow to the next level, and then so on and so forth, right? Because even in my own business, I have people that come and help me because you get that tunnel vision when you're at your own company. You see it the way you want to see it, and you don't see the little hurdles. It's like looking in the mirror. Sometimes it's difficult to admit that there's a hole here or there. So it's very useful to have outside third parties come in and really help evaluate what's going on and where you're headed. So that's really what we do at this point, and looking to keep expanding and growing that.
Nice. So tell me, how does a guy go from retail to starting a consulting business, kind of like what you're doing now? Like, walk me through that first sale. I want to know about that because I think a lot of people out there, that are listening, may be like, I've been in real estate for this long. Maybe I want to do something different or whatever, because they want to change it up and stuff like that. So kind of walk me through that first, kind of that transition going from day to day 9 to 5 to, okay, now I'm an entrepreneur now. How do I get that next sale?
Yeah, absolutely. So, being in the automotive industry, I worked my way into leadership positions, and I found that even though I had a vision of where I wanted to take the team, the business, the dealership, it didn't always work with the higher ups, right? So there's always a boss, there's an owner. Even if you're the highest position, there's someone right above you, kind of pulling the strings. So, I wanted that freedom of that decision, right? So I enjoyed business. Like I said, it was like looking at it from a third party, right? And I was saying, okay, so we have holes here and there. I want to fix them and let's grow. But sometimes there was a challenge there. So I was like, I'm going to try this on my own. So that's when I transitioned. Now, I had a little bit of an advantage because we moved. So we were located in Philadelphia area at the time, and we moved from there to San Diego. So it was like a natural break to go, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to go and back into the retail world in San Diego and that market, or do I want to take this leap of faith, right? And at that point in time, I wanted to take it. So, I stepped out of that comfort zone and into the uncomfortable feeling of an entrepreneur, right? And
Right.
starting out. So it was difficult at first, especially because I'm in a new area, right? As a consultant, you need a reputation. You need something that people can go to and see and hear you, not your pitch, but hear you handle situations and just discussions, right? Get a feel for you. So, it took a little bit of time, but I did have some points of contact through the automotive industry that, got me in front of some managers and ownership of dealerships to, give my pitch and then fine tune it. So it took a lot of practice in the beginning. And around the 30, 45-day mark is when I closed my first sale. And it was really just someone that was hungry for something different, right? They talked to all the people that were from the area. I'm from the other side of the country, a different perspective on the industry. Let's try it. And then it was once you get your foot in the door, it's all on you, right? It's all on what you can provide and that value. And really, I exceeded expectations to where I still have that client to this day.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, so it's just really learning, what it takes and just putting yourself out there.
Awesome. Yeah, my wife does some consulting too and some business stuff, and it's always interesting to try to figure out exactly like what are you worth? Like
Yeah,
what's the number you put on it?
absolutely.
And I'm sure you probably ran through those different things too. It's like, okay, well, what's the number that what am I worth? Do I just make up a number and maybe it sticks? And then if it doesn't, we kind of keep adjusting, or do you just figure out like that's the number and you stick to it and hopefully they go for it?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I did was in the beginning it was a feel, right? You're feeling out what number it is, where are you at, what's the sweet spot, what are you offering? Because that's really the question. Okay, so you're $5,000 a month. What do I get for $5,000 a month? So having that laid out, what is included in this? Because at the core, we like tangible things as people. We like okay, so $500 is the TV. I can touch and feel the TV. When you're a consultant and it's a service-based type of industry, they can't touch, feel it. So they want to figure out what it is that you're bringing to the table. So we offer over time it's been built, but we offer a whole list of services that come along. It's not only me coming in there or one of the consultants coming in there and saying, hey, let's do it this way or do it that way. There's a whole list of things that come with it at this point. So there's email services, there's text services, there's phone scripts. There's a lot of stuff that I have a whole support team that use to build on those monthly emails, those weekly emails, things like that, and then distribute them and distribute open lists and so on and so forth. So over the years, it went from just me coming in the door with my backpack or briefcase to a team of people. So that number has evolved over time.
Nice. And so you guys started off basically going to what was comfortable, which was dealerships. You started there and then
Absolutely.
transitioning from dealerships to real estate and then basically what sales in general.
Yeah, so it started, like you said, with dealerships and dealerships and real estate agents right out the gate, pretty much.
Okay.
There was a lot of one-on-one for me with the real estate agents, so that's a totally different. You talk about a number situation. So but that's where I cut my teeth per se as a consultant, was going where I was comfortable, and then we evolved into brick and mortar, local small businesses, because quite honestly they don't get access to a lot of services that are available to businesses, right? When you're a small business, everything seems so expensive. So we designed packages and ways to work as a team with small businesses that really doesn't put them out there, right? It doesn't take anything away from the small profit margins that they're probably making at that time. It really increases that to cover the expenses. And that's really the goal to me. That's my thought process as a consultant, as a consultant business, is we're going to come in there and we're going to pay for ourselves. We're not asking you to create an expense. We're going to increase your profit margin, not only to cover us, but to give you, a net profit as well.
So you guys basically provide like an ecosystem. So you have like a suite of services that they can sign up for.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a full service package, which gives you, like I was saying, a lot of different services as far as internally, depending on your structure and your setup. If you're a single real estate agent, it's a lot more of singular one-on-ones. But then if you're a larger agency that has multiple agents and you want to do sort of a blanket message across the agency, so everyone kind of uses a form of, I don't like to say template, but the same message, right? Because it's all about the message and the uniformity in that message that really creates that success. I use McDonald's a lot because if you see the golden arches, you know exactly what it is, right? And you need that same branding across everything, especially if you're a larger business with multiple assets. You want that same message across the board so that you don't get confused with your competitor, right? They want to see that branding, that logo, that same, whether it's a tagline or whatever it is, you need it uniformed across the whole spectrum.
Yeah, I find that real estate agents really have a disconnect with their branding. They always talk about like, oh, well, you need to have a good internet presence. Well, that's great if you have a good internet presence, but if it looks like you work for like 5 or 6 different companies because your branding is not the same, it doesn't
Absolutely
feel, it doesn't have the same look. You might have last year's logo, and then now this year it was a refreshed logo, and you have a different logo, and so it's like, your audience is confused. Like, am I going to be just as confused working with you as I am trying to figure out what your identity is online, And so it's kind of funny, like, you need to have your signs look like your business cards need to look like your website needs to look like all of, if you dress that way, make sure you dress that way when you show up for your clients.
absolutely
Your professional dress online and you show up in cowboy outfit, when you go meet your clients, they're going to be confused, and so there's this interesting dynamic with branding, and it's not so much that the company that they work for, but who they are. Like you say,
yeah
this is who I am. This is not, some sort of like acting or fake person. And then, oh, this is the real me. And so it's funny because I'm always wearing a hat, and so I don't have a hat on my online stuff, which I probably should start doing because I'm always wearing a hat, And so it's just it's funny because I'm like, yeah, I probably should fix that. Um, so 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 coming at it from the communication standpoint, kind of walk us through a real estate agent's communication through email. Like, how do they start? Is there like a templated structure? Is it more, is it salesy? Like, is there like a follow-up email versus like a, introduction email, and then the weekly emails, kind of thing? Kind of just walk.
Yeah, absolutely. So so the approach, like I said, is always find out what you're doing right now, okay, and then build on that. Because everyone that you talk to, they have a level of success, whether it's at the very bottom or the very top. There's success there. So we look at that approach. What is your message? Just like you said, are you branded across all spectrums? So that includes your emails. So it's not really, we don't like to take the salesy approach, because if you ask anyone that's on the other side, sales is a dirty word, right? So anyone that's not in sales thinks that sales is horrible, where in actuality, our whole world is sales. everything we do, even just talking to our children, we're selling them on an idea. So, how do we get past that hurdle? And that is to bring value. Okay, so most real estate agents, if you purchase lists, then that's great, right? But most times your lists are built based on people reaching out and saying, hey, we're looking in the market, can you send me some homes? So what do? We create this, we go in the MLS or whatever system we use, and we're sending them based on their priority list through a service, this list of homes. What else can we bring to them besides the list of homes? We can bring them weekly or biweekly emails that bring value. What's the market look like? What do the school systems look like? What are the big things that's going on in neighborhoods? What are the things that our customers, our clients are looking for, and then build upon that. Because really, when you bring value, then people want to gravitate towards you, right? They're like, wow, very helpful. This is great. And they actually like that information after they purchase, right? So I was telling you before we came on here, we moved here almost 10 years ago now, and we found a real estate agent. And, we've been friends with this real estate agent for the 10 years, and, purchased 2 homes since we've been out here. And, that information that she sends is just unbelievable. And it's evolved over time, right? So 10 years ago, it was an email here and there. Okay. But now there's a very consistent level of information that's coming to us. Now, she sends us one in particular that tells you the current value of your home, right? It's the one that, because as a real estate agent, it's great to get that phone call that somebody wants to buy a house, but ultimately we want to be your listing agent. So how do we do that? Well, we have to provide value and information that wins, right? We have to give you a reason to call us, to sign up with us. Why do I want you to sell my home? What makes you different than the guy or the girl down the street, right? And that is in that consistency in that information. Not asking them to list with you. You're sending them an email that says, okay, the market's this. If you were thinking about listing, this is what the range that you would be looking in, depending on condition. The one that I've seen now has a sliding bar. You can change it. We, as people, we like to touch and feel and adjust it. So if I can adjust the range, okay, what if it's fair? What if it's excellent condition? And it changes the number, right? So that's value. So now I'm spending time in that email. And then as you go down the email, there is a call to action. If you want to get it a step further, if you want to get a more detailed breakdown of what your home is worth and what you can ask for in the current market. So it is salesy, but it's information that answers questions, right? So it doesn't matter what type of product, a house, a condo, if you're doing offices or commercial real estate, there's questions, right? As consumers, we have questions. If you can answer those questions, you provide value, and then it creates that dialogue, that interaction.
Awesome. So if a person's gonna start the email process, like how does a person just, I've been doing it, my bad habits for the last 5 years. And now I'm like, oh crap, now I need to start communicating with my past clients. Because I think most real estate agents, their least utilized source of sales is their past client database, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so like I've got 10 years in the business and I've got, 300 past clients and I don't know what I'm doing. What do I?
Well, you want to start out with almost like a reintroduction. If you haven't reached out to them in a long time, say that. Say, hey, I know it's been X amount of time, right? And you can layer that. I know there's a lot of systems you want to make automation, right? And that's great. I understand that. But at least that first one, that reintroduction or that first introduction should be you sitting down and sending out an email. Yes, there are things we do have templates. we believe in templates because it's difficult as an artist to look at a blank slate and come up with something, but you want to take that template and you want to make it your own. So yes, we do have information to help you. We have writers that help people and real estate agents with the message for that past client, right? And, you know, in communication, there's certain pillars of communication that, you know, unfortunately we're not taught throughout our, you know, elementary, so on and so forth. But one of the pillars of communication is authenticity. So be authentic, okay? If, you know, you're not the only person that's not reached out to their customer base. I'm here to tell you that probably 98% of salespeople in any industry don't talk to their customer base because I earn their business, okay, move on to the next one, right? And, you know, we're always thinking about the next one when they like this, they decided to purchase with us. Why not build that relationship up, right? So it is difficult. It's something that we as salespeople suffer a little bit at. But if you're authentic in that message and saying, hey, you know, I apologize, I haven't reached out in a long time, but I want to let you know that, you know, moving forward, I'm going to be sending you some really great information. If you ever have any questions, if you ever, you know, just want to talk about something, just reach out to me, let me know, and we can set up a time to maybe get some coffee or something and discuss it. Or over phone or over Zoom, depending on the current world situation.
Right.
You model that message accordingly. But really, it's just like, hey, I'm here for you. I know that I haven't talked to you in a little while, but I want to let you know that I'm here. You know, and people will feel, they'll be like, hey, that's pretty cool that they, instead of just getting an email that says, what's your value of your home, right? It's like you can tell what is automated and what is being sent from the heart, right? And being as authentic as possible really will help you get very, very far because you create that connection, right? So as I've grown and evolved in my life, my goal moving forward, and I've already started this, is to every relationship, every person that I speak with, how do I create that deeper connection, that desire to, hey, I wonder what Bill's doing, right? How do I get that out of the people that I meet and talk to?
Yeah, you hear that a lot. Agents they're so templated to the point where every realtor has the same messaging. You know, I'm a full service real estate agent. You know, I, work with clients all the time. Our inventory is really short. You know, we need to get, if you have a house you'd like to sell, and that's on every single piece of everything that they send out, and it's like, okay, you can still be templated, but still have the look, feel, and sound of being authentic. And I think that's the key, is that, they want you to sound and feel sincere. And then when when your clients do reach out back to you, that you have a frame of reference of what actually happened. So that way, if it is automated, that you can respond in a way that doesn't sound like, wait, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah. What email did you click on?
Yeah, right. Well, that link, like
Yeah.
clients tell me, like, when I send them the automated, houses, they're like, yeah, you just sent me that house on 3rd Avenue. And I was like, wait, what house on 3rd Avenue? Oh yeah, that one. Sure.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, I totally get that. One of the big issues too is that if you have such a huge database, how do I send out those emails to such a mass amount of past clients? Like, and then I guess one other thing to piggyback that is individuals versus teams. Like, I'm a team leader, do I send these out to the entire, or do each agent have their own?
Well, I'm a believer. So, okay, let me go to the first question. You have a large database. You say you have 5,000.
Yeah.
That's a large database, right? So now you want to kind of break that down, because I want to go back to something you said earlier, and that was, a lot of real estate agents say, I'm a full service, I'm a this. Why not say that I specialize in X, right? We always fear eliminating prospects, right? But why do we want to keep trying to reach a prospect that we're not good with, right? We don't match. Everybody thinks more is the key, right? It's really not. I'd rather have a handful of clients that do business with me all the time than have thousands of clients that I only do business with a handful of them, right? Because you're trying to keep up with too many at one time. And that's where the message gets watered down. That's where it becomes that cookie cutter. Here's the value of your home. Do you want to sell it? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Right? Really, how do you dive down and make those connections is to understand that, I mean, what in Wyoming, what are real estate agents, as a real estate agent, how many homes am I looking to sell throughout the course of a year on average?
Up here, the goal is 4 a month, 48 a year per person.
Okay, so 48 a year, right? So 4 a month, that would be San Diego real estate agents would be flipping.
Right.
They would love that. We have a lot of agents down here, but so say it's half that. Say it's 2 a month, right? So to get 2 sales, you don't have to talk to 5,000 people, right? You have to have really good communication with a small number of people and make that valuable, right? So how do we do that with a large database? Back to your question, you have to segment it, right? So if it's 5,000, and obviously there's people that are 5 years and older, 10 years, so on and so forth, right? So you can send groups of messages. You can take like the 5-year client, right, and send a message to those 5 and older. And then 1 year to 5 years, send a message to those. And you can still make it feel like it's only to that one person, but it be to a larger group of people. And it's just talking about that. It's been over 5 years since, things like that. You can use terms that help fine tune the message, but also cover a larger segment of the market, right, of your database. And to your other point, so I'm a big believer in, especially if, I know real estate's a little bit different. You're not like a closing manager. You don't have a sales team and you have a closer, right? But still, why not? I would rather, as a client, I would rather know that I'm dealing with a larger entity that has a lot more resources and they're there for me. And guess what? I don't buy and sell homes every year. It's probably 5 to 10 years for most people. And, I want to know they're still there in 5 to 10 years. And if it's a large organization, there's a good chance that they will be. So you definitely should be sending something to go alongside your agents. Your agents have to have their own branding as well. But then you coming along and saying, hey, this is our organizations. This is what we do. This is what we do in the community. This is the organizations we donate with, we raise money for, we do charity, whatever it is, right? They want to know that you're people and you're going to the grocery store and you're just like everybody else, right? And that's really, once we know that we're dealing with humans, everything all our walls start to come down and so on and so forth. So the more you can do that, the better.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's the tough part is then, okay, well, how do I create those systems? And I'm sure that's where you guys come in. You have those systems to where, that whether it's a newsletter or however they sign up, and then it gets loaded into that system and then it gets distributed out to the database.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off.
I was going to say it's tough as a realtor to think like, oh, I got to wear my sales hat today. And then tomorrow I got to wear my marketing hat. And then tomorrow I have to be a counselor. And then, the next day I got to be the finance guy. It's like, stay in your lane and then hire out and leverage all those other systems, right?
Oh, wow. You couldn't have said it better. I mean, it's just, I learned with my own business and myself, like in the beginning, I was doing my own taxes, for example, or as my own accountant. And I'm like, I'm not an accountant. What am I doing? And then, it's because it's hard. It's hard to pay for that, right? And going back to, like you were saying, what do you do? There's many systems. There's CRMs, there's email marketing platforms. There's so many things out there that most real estate agents are using some form. And, we work within those or we have, many to suggest. And and help you guys with.
Awesome. Well, I think that's about sums everything up right there. Bill, it's been fantastic, man. This is good, tangible, chewable stuff today. So if somebody is interested in, what you guys do and your services, and what's the best way that they can reach out to you?
Go to the website. It's professionalsuccesssouth.com. And if you go there, there's easy ways to sign up. We have a ebook that you could take a look at, or get on our list, and we send out valuable information, just like we're asking our clients and instructing them to do. So yeah, absolutely, reach out, and I'd love to talk. I'm on all different platforms, social media. I'm always up for a conversation. So
Awesome. And then you guys have a free email PDF that someone can get a hold of?
yes, if you go on the website, it's right there on the website. Once you fill that in, it'll be sent right to you.
Awesome. Well, Bill, thanks again for being with us today. We really appreciate it. And we will hopefully somebody will find true value in this and reach out to you, and hopefully you'll get a new client out of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks.